And we are live. What's good, Josh, man? DL Saint. Welcome. Really want to know podcast, man. What's happening? It's Tuesday, guys. It's Tuesday, and y'all know what that means, man. It is Crime and Punishment Tuesday, man. We're gonna be talking about. On Tuesdays, we talk about everything crime and punishment. Today, we're gonna be talking about Marcellus Wiley and his issue. He was recently had some legal trouble here in Florida, and now he's dealing with a divorce issue, among other things. So we're going to break that down and, take a look at how, our current system, our crime and punishment system, like the judicial, like the criminal law system and the family law system, how it works. And, we can make up our own mind on if it's fair or not. Right. So what it does to you, no matter what, definitely something to look into, man. So, let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. Mandrell's already in the building. What's happening, fam? Good to see you, brother Mandrell, man. Hope all is well on your end. All is well on my end. Over the weekend, this past weekend, I was in Miami. Did a quick little video on it about the people talk about this, Miami's full of gold diggers and 304s or whatever. Kind of gave my take on it. I want to do a longer, like a full video on it. We might do it tomorrow, but sometime this week, I definitely want to talk about it. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about it on Friday. We're going to talk about it on Friday. We're going to put together a little show. I got my man G Complex is going to be in the building. We're going to, talk about what we see from gentlemen who are a little bit older, a little bit more experienced. Kind of throw our 2 cents in there, let y'all, just chop it up. But I had a great time in Miami. Miami's definitely my favorite city in America, no doubt. And Miami is probably top 10 favorite cities on the planet, But while I was down there, I guess on the 4th of July, Marcellus Wiley, who is a, former NFL guy, played, I guess he's a Pro Bowler, played for, I think, Buffalo and Dallas, and has, up until this point, a pretty good career in broadcasting. He's been with Fox and some other networks. He has his own platform, pretty good brand. And, I've even met the guy. I bumped into him in LA once. We were at an event in Hollywood. Cool dude, very approachable, very friendly, just really engaging. It is what it is. And to see this, it's like, wow. You know what I mean? Wow. So I just wanted to, get in here and chop it up a little bit, man. Actually use ChatGPT to help me put together my notes and stuff like that. Unpaid plug for ChatGPT. Also use Claude, depending on what you're doing. One is more friendly than the other, but like for my thumbnails and all that kind of stuff, like everyone else on YouTube, using ChatGPT, you can just look at the thumbnails that I used to do compared to the ones that I do now. You can tell, okay, yeah, he's using Chat. It's just easier, and I like the way they do it. And if you look at everyone else's thumbnails, you can see it as well. It's like everyone's using ChatGPT. Why wouldn't you? Chat, like AI has changed the world. We got a good friend of mine who has a business, has a bunch of businesses, started a new business, and was talking to someone about setting up a website. And the people were quoting all kind of numbers, like $700 to do it. Having a conversation, going over the numbers. While they're having this conversation, they're online, right, researching, and found an AI business that does that for you, does everything in the time they had the conversation of, trying to hire someone to do it. They were able to have everything done and set up by the end of that call. Crazy, right? Like, so these people are trying to get money out of you. You're listening to their pitch, their spiel. They're talking about, why this investment is worthwhile, blah, blah, blah. And by the end of that conversation, the potential client was sitting there, typing away, found a site that put it all together And it's like for basically nothing. You're talking about $20 a month is what they're, they went from, these people were trying to get $700 out of them, right? To just paying $20 a month. It was just, wow, that's what AI does, guys. Like, so shop around, do what you got to do, continue to utilize AI. It ain't going nowhere. A lot of people are going to be losing jobs, these type jobs like tech stuff and all that. I don't know what, maybe a year or so from now, I'll probably be able to, maybe using Claude, come up with, create a program that's going to be able to help me run this platform like like an AI producer or a virtual producer, which I really need. I'm working on that now. Hopefully I can figure it out. The world is changing, guys. So anyway, that's my free plug for AI. I'm just letting you know, ain't no stopping it. Some people like, man, you just don't use it. Like, you know how much time AI saves? Like, no, bro, we gonna use it. But Marcellus Wiley, can allegations alone bankrupt a public figure? That's kind of how I want to talk about it. Like, we're gonna talk about the legal stuff. We're gonna talk about what happened, like being arrested, getting arraigned, getting bond, and all that kind of stuff, and then how the two states work. We're gonna talk about all that, but can allegations alone bankrupt a public figure? Right? A lot of people don't think about that. Like, he makes his money off his brand and dealing with the public and getting sponsors and all that. This is bad. This is bad. And we're only talking about the allegations behind the domestic violence and the pending divorce. Like, his wife allegedly filed for divorce in California. We're only talking about that. We're not even going to get into the other allegations as to what was going on when he was in college with other women, or women making claims that he was doing stuff when they were underage, when the girl was underage. It's so much going on. It's like, damn. And it all hit at the same time. It just makes you wonder, like, is there some sort of coordination going on? Or the people like, oh, here's an opportunity. We see this. Okay, drop that. We're going to do this now. So that's going on right now. And Marcellus Wiley is a public figure. And what will this cost him? Right. So can allegations alone bankrupt a public figure? Right. And then Marcellus is a former NFL star. Like I said, he's a sports commentator. He now finds himself facing a criminal investigation, a divorce, request for restraining orders, and a growing media firestorm. And that's, some people say, man, there's no such thing as bad press. But in this case, this is not the kind of press that you want. He's immediately on the defensive. You probably got to go out and hire a firm to help you handle this and, maneuver this. And how much would that cost? I mean, do you have enough money to do that? Or are you going to have to fight this on your own? I guess we'll see as time moves forward. Whether the allegations ultimately prove to be true or false will be decided through the legal process, right? And there's going to be two processes that we're talking about here. We're talking about the criminal law system out here in Florida, where he was charged with misdemeanor, domestic abuse or something like that. Well, it's going to have the term here in a second, but he was, I think it's a misdemeanor battery is what he's charged with, domestic battery. But then there's also the family court system in California that, you got two systems, one's criminal and one's not, but the criminal proceedings could have weight, and it could be a negative outcome for him in the family law system. So, it's like these things are going on at the same time, and you're going to need criminal lawyers and you're going to need family law lawyers. So it's crazy. You're going to need lawyers here in Florida. You're going to need lawyers in California. It's probably just going to be hearings. So he's going to have to fly back and forth. He might have to come to Florida and stay here for a while until they can figure out the proceedings. So we're going to get into all that. But here's what most people don't realize. Sometimes the punishment begins long before the trial ever starts, right? Lawyers, court costs, lost sponsorship, lost business opportunities, your reputation, family court. Even if someone is eventually cleared, the financial damage may already be done, right? And that's something to think about, man. Like, how much is this going to cost him in lost potential revenue. He could have been working on a deal. He could have been working on like a 10 million, 20 million, $100 million deal. That ain't going to happen now, right? So today we're going to separate facts from allegation, explain what we actually know, discuss what happens next, and ask an important question. Can allegations alone destroy a person's finance, career, and reputation? And I think we all kind of know the answer to that. Right? I think we all know, we kind of know that. So what do we know? Let's begin with the facts. Marcellus Wiley was arrested in Florida on a misdemeanor domestic battery charge. So there it is right there. Authorities later issued a no contact order. So, no contact out here in Florida, but they don't play with that. No contact means just that. So if you text, call, show up at the mailbox somewhere, like I'm just going to get the mailbox, but they're there, bro. No contact means no contact. If you have any contact at all with the person, they'll bring you right into jail. That's a violation. Right. And then what I saw when I was sitting down for the couple months that I was in there were so many dudes who were in there and they would violate a no contact order. There are guys who are in jail and they would violate the no contact order, trying to send messages, trying to call, trying to say stuff. So when you're in like jail here in Florida, it's probably everywhere, they give you these tablets, like these, and with this tablet, you can do everything from making phone calls to doing visitations with your attorneys, to reaching out to your attorneys. You got access to legal libraries. You can text people. You can get emails, send emails. They have movies on there. I mean, it's just like everything is on that tablet. And, like the inmates, they get that tablet, bro, and that becomes their world. That becomes their portal to the outside world. Everything is on there. You order your commissary on there. You get, you get money, like your money on your books. You can see how much money you have on your books on there. You can, look at your charges, right? If you have complaints about, something that happens to you while you're in the jail, you can complain. You can complain against the guards. You can complain against other inmates. You can do all sorts of stuff. Like if you got a problem with the nurses and the medicine and all, like you can complain about that. Although that one is on there, but you have to actually fill out paper, old school paper for that. Got to actually fill out a form on documentation and turn it in. But everything is on that tablet, right? So there are guys who are sitting in there, and what they'll do is get someone else's tablet, and then they'll send a message or call the person that they're not supposed to call, right? The person they're supposed to stay away from on the no contact order. And the jail will see it. They're like, oh, you reached out on DL Saint's tablet, and you reached out to this woman, and they'll put it together real quick. And it's like, you're doing more time. Like you're in jail violating the court order. And they have no problem with, just going ahead and putting more time on you. Right. And the person whose tablet you use, they might get in trouble because they watch everything in there. If they see you, because a lot of guys are, hey man, can I use your tablet? There's some sort of problem or whatever. And you get so many free calls a month. You get so many free messages a month that they're just not paid for. So the guys are like, hey man, I don't have no money in my books. I don't use up my free messages. Can I use some of your free messages? And in exchange, I'll make up your bed, or I'll give you my lunch or something like that. They'll make a trade. The guys will be like, all right, yeah, man, give me your lunch and, you can have my free call. But they don't know who you calling. They don't know your situation. They don't know that you have a no contact order. So, they'll look at that. The jail will see that, Mr. Saints sent a message to this woman, at this time, blah, blah, blah. And they'll go get the cameras and see who's doing something. They see that, oh, that's you doing it. You trying to reach out like, oh, come on, baby. Just drop the charges so I get out of here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, or whatever you saying. They tell the police, like, he was sending me a message. Here's the message. You come in there, they actually come arrest you again and recharge you. You go right back through the process again. So it's crazy. It's crazy. So that's the no contact order. They don't play with that out here, by the way. That, it's like a restraining order. They do not play with that. And it continues. Shortly afterward, his wife filed for divorce and requested a domestic violence restraining order. So that was in California. The no contact, that's Florida. But then she, went to California, filed paperwork, and won a restraining order. So you got 2 restraining orders in 2 different states. Her court filing contains numerous allegations involving physical, emotional, sexual, and financial abuse. Marcellus Wiley has publicly denied these allegations. Those are the facts as we know them today, right? That's what's going on right now. Everything else will have to be decided in court, right? Criminal court, even though it's a misdemeanor, still criminal court here in Florida, and then family court in California. So I'm telling y'all, this is crazy. I'm just checking the audio real quick. Criminal court, even though it's in Florida, and then family court in California. I guess it's okay. Let me push this microphone up closer so it'll sound a little bit better. So that's what Marcellus Wiley is looking at right now. And again, when I met the dude, man, just cool guy, whatever. Fellas, I'm always talking about containing your emotions, keep your emotions in check, especially when it comes to dating and all that and relationships. Man, you got to just do that, because if you lose control of your emotions, you can make a mistake that can get you into a situation like this. One mistake, and you can be dealing with some serious problems. Now, there's a lot of allegations made here. Marcellus is a big dude, played in the NFL, defensive lineman. You got to be an aggressive guy. Like, he doesn't seem like, when I met him, he didn't seem aggressive, but we don't know what's going on when the cameras are off. We don't know what's going on in anyone's home. It's just really the 2 of them. You have this man and this woman, and then everyone has their reasons for doing whatever they want to do. Be careful, guys. Keep your emotions in check. I can't stress that enough. Keep your emotions in check. The same for me. I wound up going, to Hillsborough County Jail at Falkenberg, right, for 65 days. And even though I wasn't in there for losing my control, I was, because I did something to let me into the system. And once I was in the system, I'm at the bay of, I'm at the mercy of the system. Had a bad lawyer, public defender, who, in my opinion, is a bad public defender, left the office or whatever, but was just really unprofessional. Kind of had questions about what was going on. There was a little bit of confusion there. I missed a court hearing. Bam, I get locked up. And once they brought me in, like I said before, they brought me in. I had no bond. I had to sit there. So, still my fault. I lost my cool. I can blame it on PTSD, because that is a factor. But I lost control. What should I have done in that situation? I should have just walked away. And that's the situation. If you find yourself in a situation with some sort of confrontation with someone, man, woman, doesn't matter, and there's going to be a moment when you can just walk away, and you should do that. You should just walk away. Put distance between you. And if that person comes after you and that person starts getting physical or whatever, there's going to be cameras to see that. You were the one trying to get away. This person comes at you swinging or whatever, and now you have to defend yourself or whatever. But okay, do whatever you got to do. But don't be the person who throws the first punch. Be the person who's trying to get out of there. You just walk away. And if you're talking about a situation where, husband and wife or whatever, your wife is tripping, your husband is tripping, leave. Just leave. Turn on your phone, start filming, right? I would go live, do something, film it, and just like, I'm trying to leave, I'm leaving. Because you're performing for the court, right? That's what's going on. You're performing for the court. That's what you got to do today. You just got to do it. And for those guys out there, if you're dealing with a woman, you trying to like hit her, you think it's cool to hit a woman, don't do that. That is the absolute wrong thing to do. Don't do it. Don't even think about doing it. If you're thinking about hitting something, especially a woman, get out of there. Run away if you have to. She can't catch you, right? Run away. Do what you got to do to put distance. Just like that, what was that actor's name? Jonathan Majors, I think it is. Going through it with his girlfriend. He jumps out the car and runs away. All right, and he still got in trouble. But that's what you got to do, man. Run away. Run away if you're a man. And if you're a woman, you're dealing with an emotional man, you shouldn't be dealing with that guy. And if you are, do what you can to protect yourself. Get out of that situation. Don't stay with him, especially if he puts his hands on you, if he hits you, anytime, yells at you, whatever, threatens you. Don't be around that guy, right? Don't make excuses for it. Get out of there. So, that's my take on that. Because the court system will have no mercy on you. I'm telling you, they will have no mercy on you. Look what happened to Marcellus. He's accused of these things. He had to go to jail. Was in jail over the weekend. They finally let him get bond. He posts bond. But even the conditions of the bond, they might not let him leave the state of Florida. I don't know. I don't know what his conditions are. And it's going to be a bunch of cases. There's going to be a bunch of money you have to spend just to find out if he did, in fact, do the things he was accused of doing. And he's got to deal with a divorce in the state of California. Oh my God. You want to talk about uphill battle, right? So criminal court versus family court. Let's talk about that. Many people think this is one case. And, you know, I get it. Because if you don't know the system, you don't know the system. Most people don't know the system. You shouldn't, right? We don't want a country full of folks who knows, you know, what it's like to be arrested and go through the jails and know the difference between the county jail and the penitentiary and know the distance, know the difference between misdemeanors and felonies. Although you should be familiar, just because you need to know your rights. If something like that ever happens, like if police ever come and get you and accuse you of something, try to take you away on mistake or whatever, you need to know how the system works. But most people don't, right? So many people think this is one case. It isn't. This is actually several legal battles happening simultaneously, right? The state of Florida is handling the criminal case. California Family Court is handling the divorce case. Like I said earlier, the restraining order is another legal matter, right? And there's a restraining order in each state. No contact in Florida, restraining order in California. Potential civil lawsuits could arise later. We know that's going to happen. We know that's probably going to happen. Each case has different rules, different judges, different burdens of proof, and different financial consequences, right? It's all about money, isn't it? At the end of the day, man, it is about money. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that he did or didn't do whatever he's accused of. I've already said what I've said about him. I only met the man once, and it was over 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago when I met him. I know my daughter was alive, right? So yeah, it was a while ago. But I never kicked it with the brother, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about his history. We don't have any shared friends, but I also know how this goes. I know how this goes. We all know how this goes. But all of the different things between the two states that he's going to have to deal with and pay for, it just boggles the mind. So could this cost him millions? Right? Legit question. Could this cost him millions? And I'm pretty sure everyone out there is thinking about it yeah, it's going to cost him some bread, right? It's going to cost him millions, hundreds of thousands. Who knows, right? Who knows? But let's talk about the money. Marcellus Wiley reported net worth is approximately $5 million. That's according to publicly available estimates. But even if that's accurate, legal battles are incredibly expensive, man. They really are, right? And it's one of those things now we're talking about the family law system. The family law system, like the lawyers in that system, I mean, they get paid by the hour, and they got to do work. They got to do their due diligence. So a lot of people say, "Oh man, it's set up." They know how much money you make. They know how much money you have access to, and they're just going to drain all your money. It's not them. It's you as the client. You have to approve everything that they do. They don't just get to run the bill up. They they're going to tell you hey, this is what I think we should do. This is why. And you got to say, okay, go ahead. So that call you're on with them costs money. And then when they go do whatever it is they're doing, that costs money. So, I mean, you're not going to get out of that thing. The family law system, man, I'm telling you, it will eat away at all your bread. It will just put you in a bad situation. And then you got to do what you got to do to go find the money, to raise the money and to take care of it. It's a terrible situation, man. The way we handle that is just so bad. But you need the legal representation. If you don't have a lawyer, you're really going to get stroked. So it's just crazy. So someone like Marcellus, and people are like, okay, this dude's probably worth about $5 million. We don't know what his finances are like. We don't know how much money he takes in per month or per year, how much money he spends. We just don't know. We don't know what the tax situation is. We don't know. We don't know what happened to the NFL money. We just don't know these things. We don't know how everything is structured. That's part of it too. So, people looking at okay, dude's worth about $5 million. So if you want me, you want the best attorney. This is how much the retainer is going to be. This is how much I charge per hour. Here are my results. Go out and talk to people. He's going to have to go find someone. He's going to get the best lawyer he can, and it's going to cost him some bread, especially with a case like this. I mean, he's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if his retainer is $50,000 up front. Like, we're going to need 50 grand just to get started type thing. I wouldn't be surprised. I have no idea what that's going to cost. You know, maybe we can find some lawyers and find out, do another show. But just the cost of dealing with this sort of thing. Remember, California that's the divorce. We're just dealing with the divorce, custody, the division of assets, all that kind of stuff, you know, because you're looking at, it's going to be child support, it's going to be alimony, it's going to be all sorts of stuff. So, man, I do feel bad. I do feel bad for him, bro. Glenn Lawrence is in the building, man. What's good, fam? Good to see you. And even Glenn's agreeing. He's like, yeah, he's probably looking at 50 grand for a retainer. He probably is, man. I wouldn't doubt it. You know, and dude, legal battles are incredibly expensive. A criminal defense attorney alone could cost well into the six figures if the case goes to trial. And see, we were just talking about the 50 grand he's going to need for the family law stuff. Now let's talk about Florida. He's going to need a defense attorney, a pretty good defense attorney, even though he's facing a misdemeanor. If you find yourself, especially in Florida, facing a misdemeanor, don't do what I did, right? Don't do what I did. Don't think like, oh, this is a layup. I'm just going to go in here. We're going to cut a deal with the state. It shouldn't be a big thing. Now you got to get a lawyer. And like dealing with a misdemeanor for just a regular person in Florida, you're looking at about $3 grand to wrap that up to get whatever deal. That's what the lawyer is going to ask, between $2,500 and $3,000. And in their mind, they're thinking it's just going to be, you know, we're going to talk to the state, work out some sort of arrangement, and then, you know, they're going to present the deal to you, the client, say, hey, this is what it is. You know, the state wants this. We don't want that. We're trying to do this. We're trying to work with them. If the state gets, you know, too belligerent and they're not trying to do anything, we'll just go straight to the judge and say, look, Your Honor, the state's not, you know, cooperating here. They're not acting in good faith. They're on some BS. We're trying to wrap this up and get on with our lives here. This is what we're offering. We think this is fair, Your Honor. You know, could you make an offer? You know, what say you, Your Honor? And then the judge can look at both sides and the judge can put something out there. Sometimes the judge will be like, yeah, the state's on its own one. We ain't doing that. We're just going to do this. You know, here's the offer I'm going to give you as a judge. You can just do community service and an anger management class. And, you know, we'll do that. And then your judge, and then your attorney could say, well, can we defer judgment? Right. That's one of those things where we'll do it. And if I stay out of trouble for X amount of time, I won't get the conviction. I won't have to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest. I stayed out of trouble. I did the things that you asked me for a year or so, and then it just kind of stays sealed or go away. The judge would probably say, okay, you know what I mean? I'll probably say, okay, you ain't got a criminal record. You never had any problems, whatever. But you see, this is how it works. Your lawyer is going to be doing that. And the lawyer here in Florida, in Central Florida, it's going to be about $3 grand for a misdemeanor, probably $5 grand for a felony, depending on what type of felony it is. So it just kind of goes up from there. So he has to deal with the legal case out here, domestic violence, and he has to deal with the family law system out there, the divorce. He's going to need lawyers for both, and the traveling back and forth. So 50 grand retainer out there, more than likely. I agree with Brother Glenn Lawrence. And then out here, I think he's probably looking at 5, maybe 10 grand. You know, it's like, because it's high profile and the state's going to be dragging their feet. It's one of those things like, I'm thinking 10 grand. The lawyer's probably, I'm going to need 10 grand to clear this up for you. And the thing with a lawyer, you give them 10 grand and they only use 6,000 of it. They're not going to keep the rest. You get your money back, right? Whatever they don't use, you get back. So it's probably going to be 10 grand. So you're looking at $60,000 out of pocket right up front. Bam. 60 grand. Imagine that. Just cut the check, 60 grand right up front. And you have no idea how this is going to play out in either state. Right? So definitely, Brother Pablo's in the building. What's happening? Poor guy indeed. Good to see you, brother. Poor guy indeed. Again, we don't know if he is guilty of what he's accused of. That was, in America, it's supposed to be that you're innocent until proven guilty. But you see, all already, everyone's like, "Up, he did it. Oh, he shouldn't have put his hands on that girl. Oh, she said he did all these horrific things. Yep. He's a bad guy." We don't know if it's true. But everyone's kind of like, he did get arrested. That's how we look at it. He's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, man. So, but yeah, he's probably looking at 60 grand, 50,000 out in California, retainer, $10,000 retainer out here for the criminal case in Florida. But that criminal, like we were saying before, the criminal lawyer could cost up to 6 figures, depending on what else happens. But again, he's facing a misdemeanor. I would be shocked if it got that expensive. But man, they know you got the bread. They can figure out how to get that money. They're gonna get that money. And all the state has to do is just keep investigating, keep churning up stuff, keep filing motions. Every time there's a motion being filed, your lawyer has to counter that motion and file a motion of their own to rebut it or whatever. That costs money. So I hope it doesn't get into 6 figures for him out here. Right? Let's talk about California. A contested California divorce, right? Asset valuation experts, forensic accountants, child custody litigation, attorney fees, those costs can quickly climb into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's the fact. Then add lost media appearances, lost endorsements, lost speaking engagements, right? Lost subscribers, you're going to have that. You're going to lose subscribers. He may gain some as well, though. Loss of advertisers. Even if someone wins in court, they may never recover financially, right? So that's a lot going on right there, man. And like when you look at the contested divorce in California is one of the worst states you want to go through a divorce in, bro. I'm telling you, that's one of the worst states. And you're going through a contested divorce, and he's going to have to pay for all of his legal stuff and everything that they need. And I guarantee you, I'm willing to bet $1,000 to a donut that she's going to request that he pays for her legal fees because he makes more money, because she's been staying home with the kids, because she doesn't have any outside income, although she was on TV and all that. But she's probably going to say, I don't have the money to pay for the lawyers. I want him to pay for it. That's like every form. He might be asking for the same thing. He might be asking for attorney fees from her. She's asking for attorney fees from him. It's up to the judge at the end of the day. But just think about that. 50 grand for your lawyer, and then the judge says, you know what, you're going to have to pay for her lawyer too. Another 50 grand or more. You're going to have to pay. And so what's the other lawyer going to be doing? If that lawyer knows that the respondent, because you have the petitioner, and in this case, the petitioner is the wife, the respondent is him, the husband. The petitioner files and is granted that the respondent, the husband, pays for her legal fees, then her lawyer is going to run it up. He's going to, within reason. It's like, we're going to do that. So yeah, we're going to need asset value, valuation experts to come in here. We're going to need forensic accounting experts to come in here and find all the money. We're going to have child psychologists come in here to get the mental mind state, of the kids. Are they being traumatized? We're going to have investigators out there looking for stuff, talking to other people, trying to find witnesses, attorney fees on top of that. How much money will that cost? So just to litigate this family law dispute, this divorce, man, it could cost him hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars just for this, right? And we just said he might be paying $100,000 or more for the criminal case in Florida, which, again, I would be shocked if it gets that high, but it can, right? It can. So I'm telling you, man, keep your emotions in check, especially if you got money. Keep your emotions in check. Unless you got enough money to make people go away. And by that, I mean, just pay them so they'll leave you alone. Like, all right, you go 25 million, buy unless you someone like, Elon Musk, right? They say on paper he was a trillionaire. I don't know if he still is, but if you got that kind of money, and think about it, if you're a trillionaire, you could lose $1 million. You can give away $1 million a day, every day, and you know how long it would take you. You know how many years it would take you to run out of money? I guess that's the question. That's the question of the day. If you have $1 trillion and you give away $1 million a day every day, how long will it take you to run out of money? Anybody know? Does anybody know? Any guesses? How many years would it take for you to run out of money if you gave away $1 million a day every day, 7 days a week, and you had $1 trillion? Any idea? And I'll let you guys know here in a second. Just take a guess. throw it in the chat. Take a guess. How many years it would take to lose that money? But yeah, and then all of the lost money that Marcellus is going to be dealing with. He probably hasn't lost too many sponsors yet, but they're watching. Right. And then, when it first happened, like, oh, we'll see what happens. And then the allegations come out in print, like TMZ was talking about, the wife and the allegations that she was making, and the abuse and the physical abuse, the mental abuse, financial abuse, all that. And it was detailed what she said happened. Well, you're going to have to take your brand and unhook it from his brand. Right? You're going to have to take that brand and unhook it from his brand. So once they see that, they're like, hey, even again, these are just allegations. Nothing's been proven. It's like, hey, man, if you got to deal with Nike, Nike's pulling out. Right? If you got to deal with, some cognac distributor, let's say Hennessy, Hennessy's pulling out. Right? But if you have a deal with some small brand, let's say he's on Rumble, something like that, Rumble's going to stick with you. They're like, we're going to stick with you. We'll wait. We don't care about allegations. We want to see what happens in court. Right? So people are going to leave, and then they're going to be people out there who will come to support him. Same thing, using the same example as Rumble. Rumble might show up. Everybody's jumping ship. Rumble might show up and say, hey, man, why don't you join our platform? We're going to stick with you, man. Well, here's some money. We'll give you a couple $1 million. Why don't you be exclusive? Be one of our Rumble voices, and we'll rock with you. That might happen. But he's going to lose way more than he gains. And that's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah, brother Pablo, it would take around 2,400 or so years, like 2,400 years, right? I look it up on, check it out. Like you could check out one of the AIs, man, or you just Google it. I think it was like 2,470 years or something like that at $1 million a day. Think about that. Almost 3,000 years. I think it was like close to 3,000 years. But even if just rounded down to 2,000, if you have $1 trillion and you gave away $1 million a day, every day, it would take you over 2,000 years, right, to lose that money. That's a lot of bread. That's a lot of bread, man. But like I said, check my math. Go ask YouTube. Not YouTube. Go ask Google. Go ask AIs like Claude and ChatGPT that question. It blew my mind. So the court of public opinion. This right here, like this part here, like this is the most damning part. If you're someone who's in the public eye, if you are, someone like him, like a football player or an actor, you're some sort of entertainer, you're a high profile CEO or something like that, author, like just if you're in the public eye, man, that's like the third court. You have the criminal law system, you got the family law system, and now he has to deal with the court of public opinion. And that is probably the most damaging part of this whole thing. And this is something he has to deal with. You know what I mean? And that's insane. This is what he has to deal with. And right now, he's losing in the court of public opinion. He's losing. Right? It's just these allegations. He had an opportunity to come out and finally speak about what's going on, but he's already behind the power curve. She's already established herself as the victim. Let's keep it real. She is a woman. He's this big football player, and he did get arrested. And the arrest report. There it is. The arrest report basically They just write down everything that she claims. They do an investigation. They look around and they just put all that stuff in their report. They'll put down what he says too. But people are going to pull that information. They're going to pull that arrest report and they're going to read it. And it's like, oh my God, this sounds horrific. But it's like, all right, you saying that this dude physically did something to her? There's going to be proof, right? That's a big guy. So you need that report coupled with some pictures. And like when you get beat up, like you got, bruises and scarring and all that kind of stuff, they take pictures of it. Take it to the hospital, take pictures of it. That becomes part of the report. I don't know if that happened here. I don't know. And I haven't seen any pictures. So, but within the court of public opinion, man, he's already down big. Down big. He's like, what is he being accused of? Domestic violence. It's a misdemeanor domestic abuse of his wife here in Central Florida. That's from Andrew. That's what he's being accused of. And in California, she filed for divorce. So he's dealing with both of those. There is, again, like I said at the top of the show, there are more allegations out there from other women for, allegedly covering incidents that allegedly occurred when he was in college. So you got that. And those allegations sound horrific too. That plays into this, the court of public opinion. There's a lot going on out there. And that one will end in a civil suit for sure, because you have people making allegations that he did this. Like he forced himself on these women. Like one of the women said that at the time she was with him, she was a minor and he forced himself on her. He was grooming me. Like she's saying all this kind of stuff. Now she's grown. That's going on. And that's going to be a civil case. So he's going to wind up dealing with like 3 legit cases. You're going to have the civil case, the criminal case, and then, the family law case. And it just right now, man, it's just like it's just like he got hit at the same time. Like all this came out like it's crazy. It's a million days. They ask how many years, how many, a million days you got to, divide them, a million days, how many years is a million days? So it said, I want to say that when I put it in there, it said it was like 2,400 or 2,600 years to lose that money. And that was back to the question I was asking. If you had $1 trillion and you gave away $1 million a day, how long would it take you to run out of money? How many years? And I believe the answer was somewhere between 24 and 2,600 years to at $1 million a day every day, right? 365 days a year. So that's what I was going with. But yeah, just a fun question. Like if you're a trillionaire, that's how long it would take you to run out of money if you gave away $1 million every day. Think about that. So shout out to Elon Musk. But back to this, this court of public opinion. Like here's something I think deserves more discussion here, right? There are actually 2 trials happening. One happens inside the courtroom. The other happens online, social media, YouTube, Twitter, news outlets, podcasts. Sometimes the public reactions, the public reaches a verdict long before a jury ever hears the evidence, right? And that's what we're talking about now. I'm pretty sure most people already have their minds made up. We haven't seen or heard anything. And that can have real financial consequences. Sponsors don't always wait. Employers don't always wait. Audiences don't always wait. Like that's what we're talking about. People are going to jump ship. I mean, like when you go and you can look this up, like TMZ is all over this. The TMZ report is so damning. Like and all the other, like I was reading USA Today and the New York Post, they were citing TMZ's reporting. So everything's come from TMZ as to what she said occurred and like the abuse that she was suffering while she was pregnant and the ways what he was doing. All this was alleged. Right. And I think in the report, she was even saying, well, I don't even have any real proof that it happened other than, what I'm telling you here. And I'm paraphrasing, but, it's, whew. And we got millions of dollars are riding on this. Like, think about it. Millions of dollars are riding on this. Like if she's successful, she will walk away with the house, maybe half of his net worth. They already says net worth is around $5 million. So let's say that's true. It says net worth is $5 million. she's going to walk away with $2.5 million. And then out of his $2.5 million, all the legal fees and all that other kind of stuff comes out. So she's going to, she's got millions of dollars on the line here. And she's going to get property and vehicles and, just everything. She's going to wind up with everything, the kids. So she'll wind up with $2.5 million, right? Let's say, plus whatever the child support's going to be. And this child support is going to be up there, bro. This child support is probably going to be, anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 a month for just the kids. And then he's going to have to pay alimony. Right? He might be looking at $7,000 to $10,000 a month in child support and alimony. So it's a lot riding on this, and she's going to get all that money, $2.5 million plus hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Right? So, and it's not like he has big money. He ain't got Elon Musk money. So like, this is enough this could destroy him. This could absolutely break him. We saw what happened to Faison Love. Again, got arrested out here. Contempt of court charges because he's unable to pay child support. He wound up, getting arrested out here. His case is still pending. So this could really break you. Right? This could really break you. I saw that, man. Like, dude's done. I saw that. The main guy he's done. He's done. And it seems like his whole defense is, I was blackout drunk and I don't remember what happened. So, yeah, he's done. I'm gonna do a political show probably next week, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what's going on politically. I'm just waiting for some stuff to happen. I'm waiting for some things to happen, and things are starting to happen. So we're gonna do a political show here real soon. If she has no proof, then what is she expecting to happen? Well, what she's expecting to happen, Mandrell, is to win over, the court of public opinion. She just want to get it out there. And, and it's gonna, again, he's gonna have to pay someone to investigate to clear his name. So, and, maybe she can't prove every allegation, but she can prove some. Again, you throw everything at the wall. It just makes him look like a monster. Right. And, people say, well, the court can see through that. No, they can't see through that. The people in court, they're, the judges and everything, they're human too. And they bring in their own biases and all that kind of stuff. So, man, I think that she can, you know what I mean? I think that she could do herself well by making these allegations. Right? Who's to say she's lying? Who's to say she's not lying? Maybe she can prove some. Maybe she can't. She can't prove others. But it's just so sad. Brother Don 007 in the building. What's happening? Ticket TV put his paperwork out there. Those charges are not good, and he didn't have enough money to make it go away. That's what I'm talking about right there, bro. So he's gonna be paying, man. Like that $5 million. People think like, man, $5 million is a lot of money. It is, but what lifestyle are you living? You worth $5 million, but you're living a $20 million lifestyle. Like what lifestyle are you living? You got a woman and you're trying to make her happy. You're doing all these things for her. Like you're going making all this money and you're spending all that money right away. Look at the car sing. So at some point, when the money's, not even when the money stops coming in, it's like, bro, you're gonna have to start reaching into that. Even if you got let's say he has $5 million, and let's say he has that money modest, just invested in getting a modest return, of 10%. Right? Which is okay, $5 million, 10%. He's good, right? You would think like that's like $500,000 a year, right? He's good. So, yeah, you like, dude, we're getting $500,000 a year. No, just not doing nothing. But your expenses could exceed that. $500,000 a year. I gotta buy a couple Hermes bags. Gotta buy a Rolls Royce. Gotta maintain that Rolls Royce. Gotta buy a condo in Miami or Central Florida somewhere. Right, got to fly business class or first class everywhere, eating at the finest restaurants. Well, you're gonna burn through that $500,000 fast, right? But he's making his money from broadcasting and all that. But still, we don't know how his money is moving. You know what I mean? Now she won't get remarried because in California, to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong out there, guys. If you're watching Team Replay, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. You get that alimony until you get remarried or you die. So this is why we need all kind of family law reform. We got Brother Tez in the building. What's happening? That's why we need family law reform. Like, why are we gonna pay you this money until you come on? Plus, she probably came into the situation with some money. So we'll see how the case plays out. You know, too bad he didn't have him living in Texas. It would have worked out better for him going through the divorce process in Texas, but going through it in California, man, he's gonna get brutalized. I mean, just it is what it is. And then you got, due process still matters, guys. That's one of the things, like, you need your day in court. One thing I always tell the audience, and y'all know this, allegations deserve to be taken seriously, but due process matters too. Real talk. Our justice system doesn't require the accuser to prove their innocence. I'm sorry, accused. Our justice system doesn't require the accused to prove they're innocent. It requires the government to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. In the criminal law system, that's an important distinction, especially in high-profile cases. And at least he does have money where he can mount a really good defense. And again, he's fighting a misdemeanor. But it's up to the state to prove him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, I just don't see the state taking this to court. Why take this to trial? Right? The state is going to settle. And that's what the attorney has to be saying. Unless there's something in the discovery that's like just damning, like, oh, we got all this video, we got pictures, we got audio, we got witnesses. Unless that's the case, then I think the state is going to be looking to settle. They're going to be looking to settle this thing. And I think that the wife doesn't care about Florida settling this misdemeanor, domestic violence case, because she's concerned about the divorce case in California. Now, it'd be nice if she can get some sort of conviction. Maybe that'll help her out there with the family law case. I don't know. Because you got a conviction, you got a violent conviction, even though misdemeanor, they'll say, well, this is violent. So we're worried about him being with the kids. So we're going to have, supervised visitation and all that. You have to make you jump through all this hoops just to be around your kids. That's part of it, because the way California works and the way it works in America for the most part, the more time you spend away from your kids, the more money you have to pay. Like I said before, we monetize children in this country, and I think that's absolutely evil. So if she can get it to where he can't have the kids on his own, he's going to pay the max in child support. If he gets his kids half the time, then he's going to pay the minimum amount of child support. Again, which I think is just crazy. That's how we got it set up, but that's how it works. So I don't think she's worried about the misdemeanor case. I think she's just like, cool, we got it. Maybe this could help out, but I think her concern is the family law case in California. Right? So definitely a high profile case. So I think Florida is going to want to wrap this thing up. Like, hey, this is what we have. If it's a strong case, then they're going to run it all the way. If it's a strong case, but if it's a weak case, it's her word against his, no real, corroborating evidence, no video, no photos, no witnesses, just that, they're going to be like, no, man, let's just wrap this up. And let's offer something. So when he got arraigned, the state offered something. I wonder what they offered, because here in Florida, when you go to your arraignment, the state will make you an offer there. They're like, hey, we'll offer you this, whatever it is. They'll say, hey, we'll, plead guilty and we'll offer you, time served. Like, you were already in jail, so we'll give you time served. And then, 3 months of community service. And then you have to take a couples counseling class or something like that, and a parenting class or something. They're going to offer something. You can just take it, plead guilty, take that deal, and you're done with it. Or you can not take it and just enter your plea. I'm pretty sure he entered a plea of not guilty. And then I'm sure they didn't take any deal that the state offered. But that would give you an idea of how strong the state's case, or the state believes their case is, by the deal that they offer. Like in my situation, I'm in there, the max would have been a year in jail for what I was facing. Again, a misdemeanor. A year in jail. They offered 6 months. And I was, I'm like, 6, what? 6 months. That don't make sense. But that prosecutor thought for whatever reason he had a real strong case and he wanted to go to trial, which was just silly. And had I not been picked up on the failure to appear, that would have gone away. We never would have gone to trial. I don't think the state would have let him take me to trial over something like that. I think we would have gotten some sort of deal. And in my personal case, I would have gone a different route. They have a special court, a special process for veterans here in Florida. They call it Veterans Court. I would have gone through Veterans Court, and it would have been a year of jumping through a lot of hoops. But at the end of that, you get they just give you a chance. You go through, you make it through Veterans Court, and then they, I think they seal your thing. I don't know if they expunge it or it goes away, but I think they seal it or something like that. It'd been a really good deal, and I would have taken that, but I'd already got picked up, and I was already inside, basically doing time. So I just decided, all right, well, I'll just take the deal, whatever the judge gives me. I thought it was going to be time served. It wasn't. She gave me 90 days. I was already in for 30 days, and I wound up doing a total of 65 days, and I came home. So there are options along the way. I don't see this Marcellus Wiley case actually going to trial. I just don't see it. But you never know, right? You just never know. I don't know how serious, I don't know what the evidence looks like, but he does. His lawyer does. The discovery has already been given up. So they know what the state knows. They know what the prosecution has. So they can look at it like, man, this is weak. So this thing might be wrapped up next week. And be like, hey, man, I'll just do some community service and I'll do some anger management classes or whatever. Done. He could plead no contest or just be done with it. So we'll see. And that's why you're paying that lawyer. But yeah, 10 grand, make this happen for me. But he still has to deal with what's going on in California, the family law case. And then wherever that other case is, that civil case, he has to deal with that. So what happens next? Here's what we'll be watching. Upcoming criminal court hearings, right? The arraignment is out there already. There's going to be more motions in this and that here in Florida. And it's going to be the same thing out there. You're going to have your hearings for the family court stuff, the divorce hearings. And the thing to remember, every time you go to a hearing in California for family court, family law, you have to talk to the mediators first, right? So it's going to be a lot of talking to the mediation and all that kind of stuff. But, they're going to go in there and not talk. They're going to say nothing can be done. And then, you can't bring your lawyers in for that. It's just you, her, and them, the mediators. And, sometimes couples can actually go in there together and talk or whatever. Sometimes couples have a plan. Like, we just want to do this. And if you come to terms, the mediator take that to the judge is stamping, and then that's it. That's your divorce. But we know that's not going to happen here. And a lot of the times, probably most of the time, the two parties don't want to be sitting next to each other. Like, I don't want to sit next to her. I don't want to sit next to him. So they go in, they talk at different times to the mediator. You go in, you say, nope, nothing agreed done here. There's nothing we can do. Bam, then you go see the judge the same day. Like, you talk to the mediators, and normally like later on that day you go before the judge. So, or they'll do it the day before or something like that. But every time they go to court in California for this family law stuff, they're going to have to talk to the mediators. Possible plea negotiations. We talked about that. In Florida, I think there's definitely going to be a plea. I've already covered that. There's definitely going to be a plea here. Again, you're going to be hearing about the evidence and discovery. We talked about that. The divorce proceedings, we've already talked about that. The financial disclosures, the property division, potential custody issues, all that is going to be coming up. It depends on how closely someone wants to follow that. I don't know if you're allowed to get that transcript if you're media. I don't know. I don't know if the court allows it. I don't know if that's all public. Probably is. Unless the judge seals it, I think that it probably is. So if people are going to follow this thing real close, they can actually just pay for the transcripts and then read it. The court will redact the names of the children and like the important information. They'll redact it. But I think you can buy that stuff. I won't be doing that on this platform. But if someone else does it and they put it out there, we'll go over it. But I don't think they're going to be following his divorce case that closely. They'll probably just wait for the outcome. But each one of these things, the financial disclosure, the property division, the custody issues, each one of those can dramatically affect the outcome of this story, right? So it's just one of those things, man. It's like, damn, Prince Anton's in the building. What's good, fam? How you feeling? Good to see you. And it's crazy. Like, as far as I know, it's public record. So yeah, if you just pay. And so the way it works is I bought all the transcripts for my hearings when I went through that process. You got to find the stenographer that was on duty that day who actually did it. You have to make a request through them, pay them, and then they give you the transcripts. They send them to you, or they have it prepared and you pick them up at their office or something like that. I bought a bunch of transcripts, and I want to say, man, they were all like, I don't think I paid less than $300 for any one transcript. So, they're not cheap. They're not cheap, but if you want them, that's how you got to go get them. It's not free. You would think like, well, I paid for court costs, I should be able to get these transcripts for free. You got to pay for that. Money being made everywhere, every kind of way possible. So I don't think people are going to be following this case that closely to where they pull the transcripts, but you never know. People are looking for content. You just never know. I know I won't be doing it. But if someone puts it out there like TMZ or someone like that, then yeah, we'll look at it. We'll give our 2 cents. The bigger picture. Here's why this case interests me, right? As you guys already know, because I want to know everything, right? The name of the podcast. I really want to know. This isn't just about Marcellus Wiley. Right? It's about anyone whose livelihood depends on public trust, right? Professional athletes, police officers, pilots, doctors, lawyers, air traffic controllers, right? Media personalities, influencers. One allegation, one arrest, one viral headline can change everything, sometimes permanently, right? That's real talk. You get accused of something and you're like, okay. And a lot of times, like, you know what? I just want to go out there. I want to clear my name. I want my day in court. Let's go. I'm going to put them on stage, put them on the stand. And just like in the movie, going to break them on the stand. Nah, your lawyer's going to be like, look, you can try that, but it's going to cost you $1 bazillion. Like, here's what you should do. You should settle. And that's what it is. We should take this deal. We should settle this way. This is how much money you stand to lose. Like, all right, if you let this go to the judge, this is how much money they're going to hit you with, because the judge can make the determination. You're not going to have any custody. It's going to be max payout on child support and alimony. And then they're going to put a whole bunch of other stipulations on you, bro. Or we can sit here and negotiate in good faith and just work out a deal that's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt as much as that. And you want to work out the deal. And then, like, same thing with the civil cases. They're accusing you of doing this stuff, tens of years ago, whatever. I want to get them on the stand, they're lying, blah, blah, blah. Do you have any proof? Well, no, I don't have any proof. We didn't have cameras on our phones back then. All right. Well, she doesn't have any proof either. You're right. She doesn't. But she's going to win in the court of public opinion. You're hemorrhaging money. Right? Shannon Sharp went through this. Like, you're hemorrhaging money. Just pay her to go away. Just pay him to go away. That's all it is. We'll just pay $60,000, $100,000, whatever it is, $200,000, go away. And then people see that, and he's like, well, if he wasn't guilty, he wouldn't have paid that. He would have cleared his name. It's like, no, you don't want to clear your name, right? You want to just get this stuff out the way. It gets out of the headlines. You get back to work. Like, that's what you want to do. So that's what they mean by sometimes this can permanently damage your reputation and what's going on out there. All right. And Brother Prince is like, yeah, let me guess. His wife found his old BlackBerry, probably. I remember when Wiley would talk all about all of the side chicks he had in other cities during his playing career. He referred to them as thems. Oh, man. You know what I think? I don't think it was she found a device. I think that she, saw in the media or read an article somewhere about the allegations when he was college about the thems or whatever, the side chicks. I think that that's what happened. And she was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I want out. Maybe she been wanting out. Who knows? But she got the opportunity now and she took full advantage of it. And remember, what do we talk about on this platform all the time? Right? Women plan, men react. I don't think that she did this off the top of her head. She planned this out. She had the attorney. She had the legal people standing by. She was waiting for her opportunity to move on this, and she moved on it. Right? Maybe she kind of provoked him a little bit. Maybe he was a little tipsy. Maybe she just, picked the fight, knowing he was going to do something. Maybe, this is all allegation. Maybe she was hoping maybe he would go too far. Maybe she could fall down, get some little damage or whatever. I'm just speculating here. I'm not saying that's what happened. But I think that she knew what she was going to do. She just didn't know when she was going to pull the trigger. And then she got the opportunity to pull the trigger. She did it. And bam, police show up and the rest is history. Right? She leaves California. She leaves Florida, go back to California. He's stuck here in Florida trying to get out of jail. She gets back into the house. She's there. Now I need a restraining order. He can't even come here. Now this is my house. He still got to pay for all the bills. Right? She's in the house. He's still paying the mortgage, still paying all the bills and everything. You can't stop doing nothing. You can't turn off the cable, right? You can't stop paying the pool boy. You got to continue to maintain that home as if you were in there. So she raced back there and got in there. And she's good to go. Everything in there is her. I got the cars, got whatever. And he's going to have to go work something out with the law enforcement so she can come out the house with the kids, and he has to go in there, and they're going to give him, we'll give you 30 minutes to get your stuff, get whatever you can carry up out of here, and then we got to get you out of here. So, which again, brutal. She's got all this stuff in the house. So everything he's going to want, he's going to have to put in the agreement. You know what I mean? Like their divorce agreement. Like I get this, and this, all my football stuff. I get my studio, whatever. He's got to deal with cars. You know, you got to split all that up. So, you know, this is bad, man. This is bad for him, you know, but again, women plan, men react. This is him reacting. And this is why I tell you guys, man, keep your emotions in check, right? Make sure you're seeing clearly, and you should be the one planning. If you know, just plan something. You should have a plan. Okay, just in case. I know everything is going great here. We're in love and everything is amazing. But just in case, I got a fallback. I have my attorney standing by. We know what we're gonna do. I have a prenup. You know, we have a postnup, right? I've set up my my financial what's the word I normally use? Like I've planned out my finances in such a way that I've curated my LLCs and my S corps and my C corps and all that. So I have my situation under control, and I'm not co-mingling accounts. I have my business accounts over here. I got all my money over here, but then over here, this is the money I use for the family, and I don't co-mingle. Right? That's what I mean. You got to plan for that sort of thing. You know, this is how my financials are set up. So in case something bad happens, I already know what I'm dealing with. Right? So all that, like, this is like, okay, he might be worth $5 million, but maybe that $5 million is set up in trusts and LLCs and all this other kind of stuff over there. So he's not worried about that. The only money he's worried about is the money he makes now. It's like, okay, I only make $8,000 a month. I make $8,000. I get paid this much money a month. So this is, and everything will be based on that. As opposed to, that's why they bring in all of the forensic accountants and all that. Like, no, he has money over there. That's not his money. That money belongs to those entities over there. This is why you got to plan. Simple. Just plan, just in case. So in closing, this story raises a question that goes far beyond Marcellus Wiley, like we said before. Can allegations alone bankrupt a public figure? I say yes. I think we would all agree that it absolutely can. Does it always? No. But can it? It absolutely can. Because whether someone is ultimately convicted or not, the legal bills keep coming. The divorce attorneys keep billing. The business opportunities disappear. Sponsors walk away. Public opinion shifts. It might shift back and forth, but it's going to shift. And careers can change forever. Sometimes the courtroom isn't where the biggest financial damage happens. Sometimes it happens in the court of public opinion. I would say most of the time it does. So yeah, now it's y'all turn. Y'all done heard me talk for over an hour. I want to hear from you. Do you think the allegations alone can financially destroy someone? Should businesses wait until the case is resolved before cutting ties? Or is protecting their own reputation simply part of doing business? Right? Let me know what y'all think. If y'all watching this on Team Replay, put your answers in the comments below. You know what I'm saying? I really want to know how you guys feel about that, man. And you know, thanks for rocking out with me. We're just going to keep it nice and simple. No videos this time. I just wanted to throw this out here, man, because man, you can really get yourself in it. You can really get yourself in it if you ain't careful. And I talk to a lot of people about this, men and women, and they're all, but love, but love, but love. Like, man, love has nothing to do with this, man. Shout out to Tina Turner. What's love got to do with this? This is about money, plain and simple, right? If your financial structure is set up to where it is separate from what you're doing with your love life, then I think that's a good play. Your trust, your LLCs, your C Corps, your S Corps, all that. But if it's not, and it's all commingled, you find yourself in a situation like this, you're going to lose half, maybe 2/3 of your net worth just dealing with this. He's dealing with the criminal case, even though it's a misdemeanor, criminal case out of Florida. He's dealing with the family law case, the divorce in California, and there's civil cases out there. He only has $5 million, allegedly. We don't know how much he has. We don't know his finances. We know he can't get into his house, right? What if he has a safe in there with gold, with his expensive watches, with silver, like just like his cash, like, he can't get to that. She has access to that. Right. So he's out here, like he's literally out in the cold right now. Like, man, how do I get, does he have any credit cards with any money on them? He has to get another place to live. He's going to have to buy more stuff. You're going to need clothing and all that kind of stuff, man. He's going to be burning up the phone lines, trying to save sponsorships and deals and trying to make, continue to make money. People are going to want to talk to him about this, but then his lawyer might tell him, don't talk about it. The judge might slap him with a gag order. Like, because you want to be careful what you say, because that could be used against you. Even though you want to clear your name, it's like, man, don't do it. Don't say nothing. Your lawyer's going to want to approve everything. If you want to do a podcast, your lawyer's going to want to be sitting right there next to you, right? Hitting you with a little buzzer. You know what I mean? Like every time you about to answer, I guess I'm not supposed to say that. You know what I mean? The little stun gun thing, like zap, zap. So he's in a terrible position, man. He's in a terrible position. Right. And that's man, if he has blind trust or escrow set up before he got married, she can't touch him. That's what I'm talking about, having that all squared away. If you're a wealthy dude, you should be doing that. If you have net worth in excess of $1 million, you really should be doing that before you go talk to somebody, before you try to get married. You just got to protect your assets. There's nothing wrong with that. She should be doing the same thing. It is what it is. Was a divorce filed in Florida or California? California, bro. California. So you're dealing with California, which is to her advantage in the divorce process. She's gonna walk away with quite a bit. And then the criminal case, the misdemeanor criminal charges out of Florida. And I don't know where the civil cases were filed. I don't know where that is. I don't know. It could be in Massachusetts, it could be in California. I have no idea where it was filed. But that was a lot, man. That was a lot. I hope y'all enjoyed it, bro. I'm done. I just wanted to, no videos, no nothing. We'll be following this case along. I'll probably do some quick videos, just kind of reacting to what other folks are saying, other people who know him, people who work with him, people in the business. I'm pretty sure there'll be a lawyer talking about this. James Sexton, he has stopped doing his YouTube channel, Better Call Sexton, because this is right up his alley. He might do a video, like a one-off, just to kind of talk about what he's going to be facing in the divorce process. But Sexton, I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear what James Sexton has to say. And I was like, oh man, he's done with his YouTube channel. But we're gonna keep an eye on this. We'll keep one eye on this. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Like, he could have important paperwork in his safe, birth certificate and all that. Yep, marriage license, social security card, etc. Yeah, and like the state of California give him an opportunity to get in there and get what he needs. They're gonna, like, when he gets back to Florida. When he gets back to California, which he might be out there already, or he might still be in Florida, just waiting on getting through this misdemeanor, this criminal case. But when he gets back to California, they're gonna set it up to where they will have the wife and the kids clear out. The police will escort him to the home, walk in the house with him, and he'll be able to go and get his stuff, like get some clothes, because he's gonna need suits and all that. He's gonna need workout clothes, whatever. Get all of his clothes, get into his safe if he has one. Grab his gold or whatever he got in there, his watches and stuff like that, whatever. If he has, I don't know. I don't know the man. I don't know what he has going on, but he'll be able to do that. Get his important documents, his passports, licenses, like social security card and all that. Get all that, get whatever it is he needs. They'll give him like a time limit, like they're gonna be in there waiting for 30 or 45 minutes to get everything he needs. Make sure, hey, you got everything, Mr. Wiley? Yeah, okay, I got everything. They get back in the car and leave. They're gonna do something like that. And then once they leave, the wife and kids will be able to come back. That's definitely gonna happen. So he's gonna get that opportunity. But this sucks, man. This sucks. And you're gonna have to keep a brave face on. You're going to be out here trying to, drum up business because now you really need money. But the catch-22 is the more money you make, the more money you're going to have to pay in child support and alimony. So again, hopefully he had that financial structure in place to where that money is going to a separate entity and not him, and he just got paid from that entity. I hope he had it set up that way. I really do, but most people don't. Most people don't. And I tell folks all the time, if you're going to get married, understand the rules and just move accordingly. Simple. If you're a dude and you got bread, you need to protect your assets. If you're a dude out here and you a brokey, you ain't got nothing to worry about. If she wants to get married, man, get married. Get married soon. You know what I mean? Get married often if you're a brokey. Because then you're in the position that she's in. If there's a divorce, you're going to get something. The court doesn't care about male or female. They only care about who has the money. So if you marry a woman and she got a little bit and you ain't got nothing, all you was doing is just, giving her some good sex and she finally gets fed up with you and wants a divorce, you get divorced, she's going to have to pay you, bro. She's going to have to pay you. And her lawyer would tell her, you need to go ahead and just cut him a check. You need to settle with him. Otherwise, he's going to get alimony. Otherwise, he might get custody of the kids. Otherwise, he's going to get half of your retirement. He's going to get half of your home. He's going to get half of your Hermes. He's going to get half of your Birkins. He's going to get half of your Kellys, right? He's going to get half of your Louboutins, your Dolce, all that. He's going to get your Poochie swim stuff. Right? He's going to get half of everything. And because women are like, well, I thought I would get everything. Like, nah, you the one with the money. So you're going to have to pay him. This is why you have women, and this is why you're starting to see the laws slowly change. So if you ain't got nothing, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you do have something, you need to protect your assets. And how do you do that? You understand how the law works. You go talk to an accountant. You get everything set up, right? You get your financial situation set up in such a way that that money is separate than the money that you're making over here, and you never mix the two. That's how you do it. And there are plenty of people out there that can show you how to do it, right? Accountants can do it. Lawyers can do it. Show you how to set all that up and, have a really good tax person and you're good to go. If this sort of thing happens, you're ready for it, right? But if you don't prepare yourself, well, you can find yourself in this trap. And that's what people talk about, man. The family law trap, the divorce trap. Men get caught up in this thing and they get brutalized. There are women that get caught up in here. They get brutalized, but it happens to men mostly. And you watch, guys. These laws are slowly changing. They're going to continue to change. Why? Because women are getting caught up in these things too, right? So if like Travis Kelce and what's her name? Taylor Swift got married, right? They got married or about to get married or something like that. 7 years down the road, if Travis Kelce decides he wants to get divorced and she didn't set up all of her finances and she didn't have him sign a prenup, boy, he's getting all up in that $1 billion, right? He's getting that bread, even though he's a multimillionaire. He's getting that bread because he's the brokey in that situation. She has the money. He doesn't. They're going to come after her. So I guarantee you there's been prenup set up and she has her financial situation sorted out, right? She has all those entities created to protect herself. She's got too many people dependent on her, right? So that's how you should do it. That's why you should do it. That's why Steve Harvey said couples should have separate accounts, one for him, one for her, and a joint for the household expenses. Yeah. Yeah. But above that, you should have, like you said, you should have all of your stuff, also separated, like, those blind trusts, LLCs, all that kind of stuff where that your money is over there and you never commingle those accounts with that joint account. You don't even commingle that account with your account. Like your account's the money you make a year, and that's between you and that entity. And they're like, well, you own the entity. Oh, well, my entity pays me this much money. I make $120,000 a year. That's what I get paid to be the voice of Marcellus Wiley or whatever. That's what I get paid for doing the stuff that I do. That's how much money I get. That's how much money you pay yourself. And the rest of that money stays over there. That the big money, the big checks, they stay over there. And you don't mix them. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Shaking my head sounds stupid. Okay, appreciate it. Thanks for the comment. That's it. That's all I got. We're done here. But I just, we'll see how this plays out. I really think that the criminal case in Florida, I think that case is going to go away. They're going to settle that. And then, of course, the family law case in California, that's where all the magic is going to happen, right? That's where all the magic is going to happen out there. And then those civil cases, I think they're going to get settled as well. And if it's true, if Marcellus only has about $5 million, he's going to lose quite a bit of that. I think he's going to lose quite a bit of that. I just hope that he's able to clear his name. I hope that he is, in fact, innocent of these charges. I hope he's not guilty. But if he is, in fact, innocent, he clears his name, he can go out here and start making his money back. And if he is guilty, I hope they deal with him accordingly. You shouldn't be doing that sort of stuff, man. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be doing that. Keep control of your emotions, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, don't lose control of your emotions. Keep your emotions in check. Don't be putting your hands on nobody. Right? Take it from me. Right? I went and did my little misdemeanor time. I'm good. I ain't never going to do that again. Walk away. I don't care what they say. Walk away. Get your phone out and film it and walk away. Of course, if they come and they attack you, put your hands on you, got to defend yourself. That's a completely different thing. But don't you go out here, putting your hands on people, losing control, because you in love with somebody who was scheming on you, or you caught them cheating, or they caught you cheating, or whatever the case may be. Right? Keep your hands to yourself, guys. Period. Point blank. Period. That's how it is. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. Okay. So Travis Kelce got married to Taylor Swift over the weekend. Yeah, I bet you she paid for that too. Wow. They got married in Madison Square Gardens. Wow. Huge. I bet you she paid for that. Shout out to him, man. Don DeMarco to Travis Kelce, man. UC alum. University of Cincinnati alumni and original player Travis Kelce, man. Shout out to him, man. So that's it. That's all I got, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed bringing this show to you. We'll be back tomorrow. Not quite sure what we're going to talk about, but be looking for the thumbnails. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. I will be talking to y'all soon. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.
Thanks for watching. Really appreciate your support. And if you like that video, check out this one or maybe that one. We'll see you around. Peace.